It's in motion.
How's it going, Exiles? My name is Ralph, and today we're going to be talking about some more Ascendancy classes. We're talking about the Marauder today. He can choose from Juggernaut, Berserker, or Chieftain. Let's start with Juggernaut. Before I get into the skills themselves, let me just say that he has some of the sickest art. I love this just bulky, awesome-looking steel stalwart armor. He's a boss. Every single node, every small node, has 15% armor, so you'll get 45% armor once you're done here. Pretty good. Definitely makes sense. You can definitely see the theme here so far. Let's start down here. 0.4 life regen per second. 0.4 isn't that much, and life regen isn't that strong, but it's okay. 0.4 with the 15 armor, definitely very tanky at least. Unyielding. 30% increased damage while you have Fortify. Well, right now, everyone just uses the Fortify support gem or tries to keep it up all the time with some movement skill. So basically 30% increased damage if you're doing that. So that's really strong. And then 1.5% of max life regenerated per second while you have Fortify. That's pretty strong too. This is just this is defensive tankiness, some Fortify synergy. Not too exciting. I mean, this life regen isn't gonna make or break your build, but it's a nice defensive bonus. Alright, let's check this out. 12% attack damage. I like that because it's not melee attack, it's not melee physical, it could be elemental, it could be ranged, so I like how this is versatile. Unflinching. 20% chance to gain an endurance charge when you are hit. I mean, that's nice. And then 1 to max endurance charges. That's also pretty nice. So you can get 7 with the bandit quest and the 3 on the tree. So you could have 8 with this. And that's quite a lot of physical damage reduction. It gives 4 per charge. And of course the resists, if you're relying on that to cap your resists. It's nice for when maps roll LA weakness to have the overcapped resist from endurance charges. So that's really nice. 20% chance to gain one when you're on hit. I mean, when you get hit, that's pretty good because if you're at max endurance charges, sometimes it's annoying to have to keep them up. I'm guessing if you just run pack to pack or you're just constantly getting hit, this will just keep you at max charges. So it seems like a stupid talent, but it's pretty convenient. It's pretty nice. You don't have to really hit your enduring cry too much. Well, yeah, and then unrelenting. This one's sick. 6% increased damage per endurance charge. 8% reduced elemental damage taken while at max endurance charges. So, unless you're doing the Immortal Call, it's pretty easy to get endurance charges, and it's easy to get to max endurance charges. 8% reduced elemental damage taken is a really nice tankiness. 6% increased damage per endurance charge. You can have 8 charges if you have this talent, because you have to have that talent to get here. 48% increased damage? Pretty good, pretty OP endurance charge synergy there. Very nice talent. I like the endurance charge. I like the Fortify stuff going on here. Definitely the tank. You know it's the tanky tree. It's awesome. Over here, 20% increased stun duration. It's alright. Cannot be stunned. They've been throwing around this stun immunity all through this Ascendancy. This is very nice. Because getting stun locked sucks. Getting killed by being stun locked is awful. It's one of the worst feelings. Cannot be stunned. Nice bonus for someone that's probably not going to get stunned a lot anyway, but still a nice bonus. And then armor received from body armor is doubled. Oh man, it's crazy. This is so crazy. You can get 2k armor on some endgame armor pieces. It's like that Templar talent that gives the 20 LE pen in the helmet and all that stuff, all that weird whatever. I like these talents that interact with your gear because it changes the way you gear. It changes the way you interact with your gear, and it's a talent point. Also, so if you have this talent, what are you going to prioritize rolling on your body piece first? Armor or resists? It's cool. It changes the way you're going to roll your gear or buy your gear. I like this a lot. I think the wording is a little bit strange though, because armor received. It doesn't say. I wish it was just local and global. I wish they would just sort of. The wording is kind of a little bit hard in some of these Ascendancy talents to decipher exactly what it is. Because technically, with Iron Reflexes, if it converts evasion rating to armor, you're receiving it from your body armor, but it isn't armor. But you are receiving it from that. So I don't know. Does it work with Iron Reflexes? It's still a very good talent. You get 2k armor on top, you know, because normally, I mean, you can get it just with 2k armor. Like, now you get 4k. It's like, oh, you just have a granite flask up all the time, basically. Very, very, very cool talent. Over here, 6% attack speed, and then undeniable. 10%, 6%, they get 16% attack speed if you're here, and then 1,000 to accuracy rating. 1,000? That's all you need. I mean, I know you're not going to get a lot of dex as a Marauder, but 1,000 is so much, and this is just an easy 2 points. When you see the double armor, you see the 1,000 accuracy, easy, first thing that comes to mind is Abysses. Abysses. Because, think about it, Marauder's so close to Resolute Technique, you're pretty much going to be not going crit, unless, of course, you can get accuracy. And here you go, 1,000 accuracy. This is awesome. And Abysses has the melee multiplier, the crit multiplier, so yeah, this is the insane Abysses, because you can make up for the physical, the tankiness that you lose. Or you could go get these endurance charges. It's awesome. Up here, almost spoiled it. 4% movement speed, really nice. And then 10% movement speed, so 14% movement speed. That's awesome. Definitely very cool. You cannot be slowed to below base speed. Movement speed cannot be modified to below base value. I don't know why it says both of those, because to me those mean the same exact thing. Movement speed cannot be modified to below base value. You cannot be slowed to below base movement speed. The awesome thing about this, you can't be you can't get frozen. I mean, you can be frozen, but when you're frozen, you can't be going. You can still be able to move because you can't be stopped, because that is no movement speed. So this talent is sick because you can run away if you click a strong box. If you YOLO a strong box, you'll be fine. This is, or temp chains maps. I mean, if you don't have a lot of movement speed on your character or something like that, or chilled ground, if you're kind of getting those stacking slows. This is so nice. And when you don't get the effect of the second part, you just get that 14% movement speed, which is very good. I was trying to think of other weird ways to use this. I was thinking about Lionized Paws, because they give you that, they do that 40% reduced when you're on low life, but it wouldn't really work out because then you'd still be at 0% movement speed because it's still base value. It's still a strong talent. Still strong for 2 points. I really like this one just because I hate temp chains and chilled ground, and I hate getting frozen, all that crap, and this is really nice. Definitely very tanky. There's not much here that restricts you to playing a attack-based build. The attack speed does Fortify. If you're able to activate that as a caster, and if you're able to, this is attack damage. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to be a caster and you were getting Fortify, you could get the armor value doubled, cannot be stunned, the movement speed talent. So if you're playing like an Iron Will Marauder and you don't want your character to be broken and you're not doing fire damage, as you'll see in the tree coming up, you'll probably want to pick another tree. But still, I love this tree. I love the tanky Marauder. I love that just heavy armor beast. Really, really cool tree. Really sick art. I like this one. There's definitely fun, cool mechanics to play with in here. Alright, moving on to the Berserker. Oh man, this guy, the clear speed junkie, he doesn't care. He's all about the clear speed. Alright, every single talent is increased physical damage with attacks. Ew, not much creativity going on here. Yeah, that's kind of lame, but still, whatever, we digress. Alright, 14% armor. It's good. Nice tankiness, nice offense. And then Rite of Ruin. 6% reduced damage taken if you've killed recently being past 4 seconds. On kill stuff, the clear speed. 6% reduced damage is nice. This is a good tanky bit there, and cannot be stunned if you've killed recently. More cannot be stunned. So you just gotta run through. Don't stun me. I gotta kill, reduce the damage. Not much to say about this one. It's good if you're clearing fast, get a little bit of tankiness, and you can't be stunned, you can't be stopped. Yeah, it's great. Clear speed. Here, 20% War Cry duration. This one's cool. Warbringer. Recover 10% of life and mana when you use a War Cry. 100% increased War Cry cooldown recovery speed. Right now in the game, there's only 3 War Cries, and that's Abyssal, Rallying, and Enduring Cry, and they all have 4-second cooldowns. So this way, they'll have 2-second cooldowns, which means you'll be able to keep up You know, you'll be able to use Rallying Cry and Enduring Cry, or Rallying Cry and Abyssal. You know, you can mix and match with 2-second cooldown, and they're going to give you 10% life and mana every time. This is going to be awesome. The War Cry builds, like, I mean, the builds that really utilize them, it's going to look so cool. I really like this talent. This one's fun. This one's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome watching characters constantly yelling. Maybe some more Abyssal Cry, because I always hate I don't know. I always find myself picking one of the other two War Cries because it seems better, but I definitely love this talent. Alright, up here, 10% increased life leech per second. Life leech rate has never... It's not that interesting. It's not that... I mean, I guess it's good. Pain Reaver. Okay, it is good here. 2% of damage, just damage. All of this stuff is physical damage with attacks, and then for some reason this one is damage. 2% of damage, leeched as life, and mana if you've killed recently. Oh, so you just like get a little Warlord's Mark on for you if you've killed. All of this stuff is killed. If you killed 2%, okay, the life leech rate is definitely good then. I don't think this talent is very interesting at all though. It's the clear speed. It has a cool theme. The Berserker has a cool theme. I'm just not a fan of it. I mean, it's cool enough. Definitely good standard build, I suppose, if you just want to farm Dried Lake for 3 years. Alright, this one I like, though. Cloaked in Savagery. 100% of damage leeched as life if you've taken a Savage hit recently. A Savage hit is at least 20% of your maximum life. So if someone hits you, does 20%, that's a Savage hit. And the past 4 seconds. 100% of damage. Seems like overkill to me. I thought there was a leech cap. I'm pretty sure there still is. So 100%, I don't know about that. It just seems like a stupidly high number. But 100% of damage if you've taken a Savage hit. 20% increased damage if you've taken a Savage hit. And then 20% increased attack speed. So if you're taking a big hit, you're going to get a crazy damage and survivability buff. You think to yourself, 100% leech, you know, you still need your leech rate to be good enough. And you want to be able to enable these Savage hits. This talent made me think, if you did wear like an Abyssus, something that makes you take more damage, try to encourage these Savage hits, and you just stacked a crazy big HP pool, like got blood magic, tried to get as much life as possible. Well, no, not necessarily as much life, but a sweet spot of life, where monsters are going to hit you. It's going to be a Savage hit because it'll be 20% of your life, but you'll have a big enough cushion to survive. And if you did Vol Pact, if you you made your way all the way to that other end of the tree, and then you'll be taking these Savage hits in this 100 leech, and you'll just be leeching all your life instantly, and hopefully they'll be hitting you, doing enough of your life, and you'll just get this huge leech buff. I really like this talent. I don't find this interesting, but this is very cool. It's like you want to take a 20% hit, because 20% is scary normally, but look at these buffs. It might be worth it to try and take these big hits. Not 5 of them, though. So yeah, this makes these talents a little more cool. This last one makes it cool. This one's, the clear speed. War Cries, and then the physical damage. And now this one, Crave the Slaughter. And up to this one, you get 6% attack speed. So 12% attack speed going here, which is great. 25% increased attack speed. So now we're talking like upwards of 37% increased attack speed. If you've been hit recently, and recently again, the past 4 seconds, that one is awesome. I mean, you're not going to play evasion with this, probably. And 15% increased movement speed if you haven't been hit recently. So if you have been hit, you get the damage, you get the attack speed, which is cool, and then the movement speed if you haven't been hit. I like this. I mean, considering it is the clear speed build, the clear speed ascendancy tree, you don't get hit for, past whatever seconds, run to the next pack, get the movement speed, so you can get to the next pack, start hitting them, they'll hit you, you get the attack speed, kill them, get the movement speed. So if there's ever like an area where there's not a lot of packs, then that's cool, because you get the movement speed and you can run to the next one. Also, this will really reward you if you're successfully kiting and avoiding certain boss mechanics, because if you're dodging well, then if you haven't been hit, you'll get the movement speed on something like a Siri. I know you probably wouldn't think of that, but these are just physical damage with attacks. So there's nothing saying that you couldn't go, there's nothing saying you couldn't use a bow with the Berserker. Definitely could do a bow build with the Berserker. I like this one. It feels better. I like the alternating stats. Aspect of Carnage. 10% increased damage taken. It's a shame you can't get this with Cloaked in Savagery, because they kind of synergize. And then 40% more damage. That's right, just flat damage. All types of damage. Like I said, I don't know why this is physical damage with attacks, because these are so general. I guess it's if you're scaling any auras, elemental damage like Hatred or Herald of Ash, you'll still get the benefit of that. It'll multiply all of this damage. This is crazy. I mean, it's not terribly interesting. You take more damage, and then you do more damage. Like I said, I mean, with this one, if you weren't gonna, you're not trying to take savage hits with this one, I imagine you would want to do something like a very large HP pool, and then Vol Pact, and then you're gonna be wanting kind of, taking these big hits because you're taking increased damage, but then hitting really hard and getting all this leech, and just your life's kind of like spiking back and forth. Not exactly reliable for hardcore, unless, you have all this attack speed, which you probably will. This tree is cool. I definitely like it. The theme, very clear, speedy, not my style, but it is a very cool theme, and this is what you definitely think about the Juggernaut. You definitely think about the Berserker, the kind of, running around with these dual-wield axes, like he's got in this picture, just slaughtering the mobs, like, very strong class flavor, really to the class. I like the Warcry stuff. I think they definitely did a good job. On to Chieftain. This guy is awesome. I love the Chieftain. I was kind of a little bothered by him at first because he's got really specific talents, but really cool stuff. So every single tiny node is 0.5 life regen. And so you're going to get at least 1.5% life regen. Righteous Fire. So the Righteous Fire tin up here, the Chieftain, this stuff is great. Let's start down here. And yes, also the totem flavor, which is awesome. 10% increased totem placement speed. Not as good as the 20% like in the Hierophant tree, but still 10% is very solid. Now, I'm going to have so much fun pronouncing these names. Alright. Arohangui, Moon's Presence. Enemies near your totems deal 8% less damage. Nice multiplier. Just take their damage, take off 8. That's 8%. That's great. Really cool. Have a decoy totem, you know what I'm saying? And then kill everyone around the decoy totem, or well, actually, I guess that kind of defeats the purpose, but still, it's very cool. If you just put a totem, any totem, that's very tanky, next to a boss, it doesn't even have to be a decoy totem, probably wouldn't want it to be, they'll just do 8% less damage. That's awesome. No, I don't know what near means, though. There's all this nearby and near, and it doesn't say exactly what it means. The wording is unreliable this time around, but oh well. Enemies near your totems take 60% increased physical and fire damage. A lot of fire theme in this one. Very specific, but very cool, very well done. Increased physical and fire. So, if you were repping physical or physical damage, you could still do this. They take increased, so, that would affect your party members also. I can't think of a build that, well, no, I guess there are some. That do physical and fire. Moving on, the more placement speed. Tukohama, War's Herald. Tukohama. Totems are immune to fire damage. Righteous Fire totem. Oh man, Righteous Fire spell totem. This is getting pretty cool, guys. This is getting pretty cool. Totems have 50% of your armor, because why not? I guess it's going to make them tankier, so that's really nice. Skills used by totems have a 20% chance to taunt on hit. Get out of here, decoy totem. Never mind. We don't even need you anymore. That's awesome. That's really cool, because if you were playing a solely totem build, it's going to really make sure that they're off of you. If you were doing like a firestorm totem or something like that, be immune to fire damage, because, it'd be immune to reflect, because it's immune to fire damage, and then it'd be getting the taunts with the spell. It'd be so cool. I'd love to see that firestorm totem build. Totems deal 8% of their maximum life as fire damage to nearby enemies when hit. And that's even cooler because they're going to be taunting and dealing the fire damage. It gives that incentive. It gives that benefit, that added cool benefit. If you do get strength, get life for your totems, like totem life on the tree, well, they're going to have little fire thorns. This is really cool passive here. And the Righteous Fire totems are awesome. Alright, moving on. I love this one. This 20 strength on the way there. Interesting. Very interesting. 40% increased armor. Look at that. Oh, I didn't say the name. Tahawa. Forest's Strength. 40% increased armor. It's like a mini determination. That's pretty cool. 10% all resist. Just good tanky stuff. 10% reduced mana cost of skills. Very good synergy with totems. Totems can get pretty expensive. Really good synergy with spells in general. Nice. This tanky utility, also 10% reduced mana cost, is great with blood magic. And then 10% increased strength, also good with blood magic. Also very good with Iron Will or Iron Grip, but I don't know if people even use that. Yeah, this is great. 10% increased strength, I mean, with your gear and the passive tree, you can easily get like 500 strength, just get an extra 50 strength, the 20 here, some 70, you know. Strength gives you base life. This is basically the only form of life you get on the tree through Ascendancy, I'm pretty sure. I like this talent a lot. Definitely your Iron Will casters are going to want this if you're playing Marauder, especially if you're doing fire damage. You'll see what I'm talking about right now. 10% increased fire damage in this little area. And it kind of goes off here and forks off. By the way, the only other places where this appears, where you have a talent that forks off into two other talents, is the Saboteur tree, the Slayer tree, and the Champion tree. Obviously not counting the Scion. I just thought that was pretty interesting, because it's like an interesting pathing, and I actually like it. I wish they would have done this more. Anyway, 10% fire. Nagamahu. Numahu. Flames Advance. 15% chance to ignite. Wow. 35% increased damage against burning enemies. Jeez. A Righteous Fire. They're considered burning. Again, this is great. 15% chance to ignite. Oh man. You gotta read this next one. Because this one, I had an idea with this one, and then the next one. Hinekora. Death's Fury. 1% of fire damage leaches life. Wow, that is a very good amount. That's very solid, just flat elemental pen. Great. Damage penetrates 10% fire. Also great. And then gain 20% of physical damage as extra fire damage if you've killed recently. Only if you've killed recently. I was trying to think of like kind of physical damage things that scale well with the fire. I was thinking like Infernal Blow, but Infernal Blow probably isn't too good with ignites. Molten Strike, it's a little weird. I don't know about the physical stuff in here. I like more of just the fire theme, but still. 1% fire damage, and then this 15% chance to ignite. Oro's Sacrifice, I think has like a 20% chance to ignite, so you'd be at like 35. Maybe you get the Ember Wake Ring, you'd be at like 40%. You could easily get 10% more in the tree, have like a 50% chance to ignite, and you could be cycloning around just doing these crazy amounts of ignites to people. I love this fire theme. This is just solid tanky stats, and then if you get this, you can, if you're doing an Iron Will Firestorm or an Iron Will Fire Spell, any build, you do these two talents, and then these four talents. These are great. These are awesome. If you want to scale ignites, you probably should, because you're going to get a 35% increased damage against burning enemies. Really solid. Plus you can get that talent by Templar, which gives you even more damage against burning enemies. Not more, but you know what I'm saying. Like, actually just increased quantity. And then we'll check out this last area over here. I love this. I really like this stuff. More 10% fire. And then Ramako's Sun's Light. 0.5% of max life regenerated per second per endurance charge. Cannot be ignited. When you or your totems kill a burning enemy, 10% chance for you and your totems to each gain an endurance charge. Unless you're talking discharge totems, I think that last part is pretty stupid. Well, no. Because it's just kill a burning enemy. So you could stack endurance charges if you have enough duration without having to rely on Enduring Cry, but Enduring Cry is so easy. Maybe if you're doing cast on damage Immortal Call, it'd be worth it. But let's talk about that top part there. 0.5% life regen per endurance charge. You can get that 0.2 next to the Marauder, right next to the Marauder. So you could have 0.7% per endurance charge. Let's talk about this. You can get 7 endurance charges on the tree. 0.7 regen. So you'd be at 4.9% life regen. Just you know what? That's so good. Forget it. Calm sign. Let's get that ring on there. 8 endurance charges. And then you could have 5.6% of your life regenerated just by being at max endurance charges. And being at max endurance charges is a good thing. You're going to have all that physical damage reduction. 5.6? That's crazy. And the tree itself, you're going to have 1.5% life regen. So we're talking 7.1% life regen. Righteous Fire is going to be so easy for the Chieftain to run. Let's think about that. So Righteous Fire does 90% of your life. With the one max fire resist talent by Marauder, with Purity of Fire giving you 4% max resist, and a Rise of the Phoenix Shield, you have 88% fire resist. So you're going to take 12% of the 90. So you're going to take 9% plus 1.8. So you're going to get 10.8% of your life regen. 10.8% life regen. That's what you're going to need to beat the degen from Righteous Fire. And then from this talent, if you did some endurance charge, synergy, whatever, you could get up to 7% of it out of the way. 7% of the life regen you need out of the way. You just need 3%. That's a joke to get around Marauder. Maybe this is crazy. And you go through this 35% increased damage against burning enemies anyway. You get that coming here. This is great. This 35% increased burning to enemies in the Righteous Fire is going to be so easy to run with this talent. It is amazing. It's going to be like back in the day when people were doing the Incinerate in Righteous Fire all the time, when they were just keeping that up. It's going to be pretty overpowered. I'm definitely looking forward to it. If you just want to play like an easy fire damage caster, just, get this tankiness, do some Iron Will, do some Firestorm, get this, maybe do some Ignites in there, and then do this, run Righteous Fire, and that'll be GG. Or if you just want to run Righteous Fire Totems, because they're going to be immune to fire damage, this tree is so cool. I definitely like what they did with these round of classes. All of these are extremely well themed, some really fun fire damage and cool tools to play around with in the Chieftain, and awesome tanky stuff to play around with Juggernaut. And for your clear speed junkies, they did a really good job of sort of diversifying the choices that you have here, and it all really fits the Marauder theme well. I'm really excited. I definitely want to play a Chieftain before, of these three, I'm going to play a Chieftain probably before I play these two. But still, this guy looks awesome. These look great. Getting so excited for Ascendancy. We only have like 2 or 1.5 something days left. I don't even know. We're getting hyped. Let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.